If you could taste the 80s, it would taste like sugar, color, and pure optimism. The 1980s weren't just a decade, they were a flavor. Every aisle in America glowed with color. Every jingle promised happiness in a box. It was an era when breakfast was neon, soda was an adventure, and every snack felt like the future. But time doesn't keep everything sweet. Today, we're traveling back to the shelves of the 1980s to remember 13 products that once defined a generation and then vanished. These weren't just snacks, they were America. Imagine waking up and drinking soda instead of coffee. That was Pepsi's big idea. It's 1989. The Cold War's ending, and caffeine is the new arms race. Pepsi releases Pepsi AM, a soda for breakfast packed with twice the caffeine. They marketed it as the drink of the morning achiever. But Americans weren't ready for cola before sunrise. Critics called it liquid anxiety. By 1990, it was gone. Pepsi AM, proof that even giants can wake up on the wrong side of marketing. This candy bar didn't die because it failed. It died because its creators hated peanut butter. PB Max was everything right with candy bars. Cookie, peanut butter, chocolate, perfection. It sold millions. Fans adored it. But the Mars family, who owned the brand, didn't eat peanut butter. So they shut it down. Not because it failed, but because of personal taste. One of the most bizarre product deaths in candy history. A breakfast so fun, parents called it dangerous. Kids in the 80s didn't want boring oatmeal. They wanted art. Oatmeal swirlers gave them that packets of bright sugary jelly to draw faces, hearts, cartoons right on their food. Parents hated the sugar content, but to kids it was magic. By the early 90s it was gone. But for one brief moment, breakfast was creativity. If you never squeezed one of these bottles till it screamed, you didn't have a real 80s childhood. Squeeze It, a fruit drink in soft plastic bottles. Bright, sugary, and fun to squish. It wasn't just a drink. It was an activity. You'd twist off the top, gulp down pure color, and trade flavors on the playground. Parents banned them eventually. Too much sugar, too many stains. But for 80s kids, that squeeze meant freedom. Before Cool Ranch took over the world, this was the chip that burned too bright. Doritos Jumpin' Jack Cheese mixed spicy jalapeno with sharp cheddar. It was wild, loud, and pure 80s. It vanished fast, resurfaced briefly in 2013, then disappeared again like a forgotten rock star. It was too weird for its time, and too beloved to truly die. What if your favorite bubble gum turned into soda? Someone actually did that. Hubba Bubba soda was pink, fizzy, and tasted like liquid candy. Wrigley thought kids would love it, and they did for about 5 minutes. Parents hated the stickiness. Dentists hated everything about it. And by the 90s, it was gone. Still, for those who tried it, that flavor is unforgettable. It was so big. One cookie was a full meal. Oreo Big Stuf was massive. One huge cookie individually wrapped, stuffed with triple the cream. It was the American dream in cookie form. But it cost too much to make, and each one had over 300 calories. By 1991, the dream ended. Big Stuf remains one of the most requested Oreo revivals ever. The candy that melted in your hand and your heart. Butterfinger BBs were mini spheres of peanut crunch and chocolate, sold as the fun-size version. They were addictive and messy. The chocolate melted fast, leaving sticky fingers and angry moms. By 2006, they were discontinued. Still, fans beg for their comeback. A sweet, sticky memory of simpler times. What if your favorite arcade game came with a prize? Diabetes. Pac-Man cereal brought the arcade home. Corn puffs shaped like Pac-Man. Marshmallows shaped like ghosts. It turned breakfast into a game. But as the Pac-Man craze died, so did the cereal. Today, the boxes are collector's gold. Proof that marketing was once as wild as the maze. McDonald's made the perfect burger, and then killed it with styrofoam. The MCDLT. Hot stays hot, cool stays cool. It came in a double-sided styrofoam box. One side for lettuce and tomato, the other for the hot patty. People loved it, but the packaging? Environmentalists hated it. By 1991, it was discontinued, another victim of progress. This was the frozen treat of childhood. before it melted out of history. Gelo Pudding Pops, frozen, creamy perfection on a stick. Every freezer had them. Every kid wanted them. But by the 90s, competition grew fierce. Gelo's frozen empire melted away. Today, fans still try to recreate that smooth, cold magic. It was clear. It was classy. It was too honest for the 80s. New York Seltzer stood out. No Giz, no Cafeine, no Nonsense. Came in small glass bottles, with flavors like vanilla cream, root beer, and raspberry. It was a hit, but the 80s wanted more color, more chaos. Quietly faded away. Decades later, it made a comeback, but the world had moved on. A clear soda that promised the future and failed spectacularly. Crystal Pepsi was the future in a bottle. Clear, clean, pure. It sold millions briefly, but when people realized clear didn't mean better, the dream shattered. Yet its legacy lives on. In YouTube reviews, collector shelves, and our memories. Crystal Pepsi wasn't just a soda. It was hope, bottled and lost. Every product here had its moment. They weren't just food. They were identity, imagination, and innocence. The 80s were messy, loud, and bright, and these flavors told that story. Maybe we'll never taste them again, but the memories, they're still delicious.